Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. In my previous video, where I made the hot air balloon, people recommended that I should add propellers to it and try to make it move. So, that's exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be building a type of airship that uses a hot air balloon that has a propeller to move it forward. So let's grab our physics assembler again. I think we'll need a swivel bearing, I'm not sure. Probably, and I think we could try using a torsion spring. Can try with a portable engine. We might need multiple of these, because with Create Simulated, like components actually have stress units. So instead of clockwork, we can just smack on like a water wheel and the thing will take off and go crazy speed. We now actually have stress units, which we have to look out for as well. Give me a slime ball just in case. We'll need some rope and rope connectors. Now to the aeronautic tab. Hot air envelope, hot air burner, gyroscopic propeller bearing, smart propeller, andesite propeller. I think we might want a gyroscopic propeller bearing. Let me just put some of these blocks in my inventory. Want our aviator's goggles again. And let's go. In fact, let's get ourselves some shafts, a cogwheel, probably some gearboxes actually. That could be a necessary thing. And I think we want to be able to steer it. So maybe a steering wheel. In fact, let's use a steering wheel actually. And let's get ourselves our creative physics staff. We also need a throttle lever too. And redstone links. Man, there's so much. So many components. And just some spruce wood just for now. Alright, first let's put these on my head so I can tell what's going on. So first of all, I'm going to have my floating spruce plank block here again. Now I'm going to put my physics assembler on here. Click and drag to assemble. This now has physics. Very cool. Let's leave that floating in the sky for 2 seconds. And let's actually establish the center. So let's put the hot air burner here. Throttle lever there. I reckon that could work. Yep, that'll work pretty well. Now this ship is probably going to be wider and longer, so let's just increase the length by 2 blocks. So we should now have a 7x3 platform. Now, how are we going to do this? Okay, give me just some rope connectors for now. I think on the outside here. Put these 4 blocks on the corners. A few rope connectors here. That should work. Give me my balloon. Now since it's bigger, I think the balloon can be higher. In fact, let's have a bigger opening here just in case. Because I feel like that when the balloon starts up, there's going to be a lot of unnecessary movement. Like backwards and forwards rocking, I believe. So just for now, let's make a nice 5x3 balloon. I think that's how it would work. So these walls can be 3 blocks high. Like so. That looks pretty good. Now let's put, I think, a rope connector here, here, and, whoops, these last 2 here. Tie a rope, another rope, and another rope. Okay, to break that. Sounds like a very heavy balloon. I have to break it just to get in here. Okay, our balloon volume is 45 cubic meters. Now, in the previous video, I didn't really discuss the whole how the hot air burner sort of works. So basically, if your balloon has different sizes, you can actually adjust how much the max hot air output is, and then use the throttle lever to sort of fine-tune how high you want to go. I'm just going to leave that at maximum for now. Let us turn that on to 1 just so it stays in the air. As long as that stays in the air, good enough. Or it could just float up to infinity like there's no tomorrow. Okay, first things first, let me just fine-tune this to about like 90. Let me punch a hole in it just so it goes down. Hot air balloon, go down. I need you to go down. There you go. Balloon, don't crash. Okay, the balloon crashed. Okay, if that's enough air. Okay, that's already way too much. So if I set this to 45 cubic meters, and then let go of that. There we go, there's not enough gas in the balloon at all. In fact, there is not even enough to hold the balloon up. Let me set that to power level 5. Will it now lift it up? There we go, it has now enough air to lift it up. I just want to keep it in that idle state. Alright, so I reckon I can have a steering wheel here. And we can actually hold right click to grab it and we can like steer it. Which is amazing. I'm going to reset that. And you can actually adjust the max angle in the back of this thing. So I think the max angle I want to go is like 45 degrees. So I grab that. There you go, you can see it only rotates 45 degrees. Is there like a way I can reset this? So if I stand that there. Wait, I just did it. Okay, if you hold shift and tap right click, it automatically resets it. That's pretty cool. Underneath the steering wheels are these shafts. And you can see that it's rotating as I'm actually moving my mouse. So, if we have a shaft going through the floor into some mechanical thing here at the back that can move the rotor from left to right so we can steer, that should be pretty good. We're going to now make a shaft going through the ship to the back here onto some mechanism that'll make the propeller move left and right. So first of all, the minimum setup for this propeller, I reckon, is let's just quickly assemble something over here to test. So right here, we want a propeller and a block. Next, I think we can get ourselves some sails. Give me some windmill sails, and let's put on that many sails. I think that'll work pretty well. Should generate enough thrust. And then we want to put a clutch at the back of this thing, like so. And then our red portable engine, like so. Now, a red portable engine, you can just put items in, and as you can see, it burns stuff, and it makes the propeller move. And also, this gyroscopic propeller bearing, it's at a weird angle. I don't want that. And according to the Create Ponder... Oh, it ran out of fuel. Just give me... Can I burn this? Oh, no way, you can. If I put a lever here and power it with redstone, it'll stay straight. Now we just have to mount this to the back here and make it where when we steer the steering wheel, that this thing goes left and right. Now to do that, we can use a swivel bearing. But now how am I going to mount it? I think that this wooden part can go here, like be level on that grass block. And then the bearing can be on top somewhere. Yeah, I think that we can make it like that. And then we can have the bearing right there. I think that could work pretty well. Okay, let's place our swivel bearing. Place it upside down first of all. If I even can, let me just move this up a little bit. Okay, swivel bearing. Now, you can see there's a cog here. And you've got a thicker plate here and a thinner plate. Now this thinner plate, I believe, is what actually will spin when I connect the propeller to the plate here. Now to power the bearing, we have to put it through a cog. Because this bearing, you can actually transfer rotation through it. So if I quickly just put like 2 cog wheels here. On top, please. So I put a motor here. You can see that we can transfer rotation through like that, which is really cool. In fact, let me get out a encased chain drive. You'll be able to see the encased chain drive moving. You can see that cogwheel spinning. Let me just get some honey glue quickly. Quickly glue that on. Now here's the cool thing, right? I'm transferring rotation through it, right? But now if I were to power this cogwheel, I can spin it around whilst rotation is technically being transferred inside of it. Because as you can see, these shafts are actually spinning, I think. If I got to speed this up to see. See? If I speed this up like crazy, you can see that this cogwheel is spinning whilst this is rotating around. And it can casually phase through blocks too, which is rather interesting. But we'll be using this swivel bearing to steer this back rotor here. Okay, let me just stop it. Alright, awesome. Break that. So we have our cogwheel here. Now, if I grab a slime ball, click here and then click here. Oh boy. Why'd that snap like that? That's a problem too. Alright, since I've had a bit of technical difficulties, we're simply just going to build the entire setup under here. So we need our clutch. Give me our sails. So we first of all have a 1x4 plank of wood here. I'm going to put a portable engine here, a clutch, and a gyroscopic propeller bearing. Put some planks here. Well, actually, we can use the hot air envelope as for it's lighter than wood. And now let's just stick 2 sails on either side. And most importantly, we want to glue this together like so. So glue that on and glue that on. So when we engage the bearing, it should all move as one. So if I just power this temporarily with a motor. Yep, that works. It moves. So let's just reset that back to where it should be. Now we just need a shaft connecting to this cogwheel, going through to the steering wheel. To do that, I'm going to grab my vertical gearbox. I'm going to put it right there. Make sure that shaft is sticking towards that way. Now we also need a vertical gearbox under the steering wheel as well. Now, oh, there goes the lever. Just going to carve this all out. And now we're going to put in our long shaft here. Let's grab a bit of andesite casing and case it all up just so it looks a bit better. There we go. Our balloon is now going up again. I might want to actually increase this to a total of like 60. There it goes, so 60 cubic meters. just so we actually have more thrust from the hot air burner. So now we have our propeller set up here. We want a redstone link on this, which is what I forgot to glue on. Here we go. Make sure to glue this redstone link on there. Now let's set it into receive mode and put in whatever frequency settings we want. And now I think right under here, let's put in the same frequency and a lever on top. Alright, so if I now flick that, the clutch should be turned on, stopping rotation. And if I turn it off, rotation should be going through. But note, we also have to power the motor. So, let's just get coal, anything flammable. I'm just going to put in coal blocks so I never have to come here again. So there we go. So you can see we've now got 14 hours total till running time. So let's now go ahead, turn that off. And now let's just decorate the ship a little bit more. I've never really built many of these ships, so the decoration might look a little bit wacky. In fact, I reckon that we can just put some stairs here. You know, fill in some more blocks here. Put some stairs around the front here. Maybe expand that out to about like that. That could actually look not too bad. There we go. Just add a few blocks to it. Make it look a little bit better. Hide the underneath a little bit as well. And let's put some wood there too. And now here at the back. Okay, here at the back, I think I might want to pop some stairs just... In fact, I can actually stick it all just underneath like this. Shouldn't interfere with anything here. And that should be our version 1 model finished. Hopefully it flies. Now, let me just turn on this lever. Right, the air is being pushed that way, which means it'll go forward. So let me just release this thing. Come to think of it, we actually need a ladder to get on, because there's no way we're going to be able to get onto that. You go put some brass ladder blocks on, just so we can climb straight on. Now, let's increase the power. Will it start floating yet? Looks a little bit back heavy. Oh, it's going. But that looks so wrong. It's got such a big tilt on it. Alright, I think what we'll have to do is increase the balloon size to cover the back of the propeller. Can you please stop floating away? Alright, let's just let this thing go back down again. That's falling rather quickly. We'll fill in the underside in a minute. Alright, so clearly it's very back heavy, so we also want, I think... Well, here's the thing. How are we going to link this up and support it? In fact, just to counteract the back heavy part, I think we can put some more front weight on, which should, in theory, make it more balanced. So if I put like a whole iron block there, now it'll be significantly heavier. Will this thing just start floating up? Let's now just watch it. Okay, it doesn't have enough thrust. A little bit more thrust. Okay, it's still quite back heavy. Like extremely back heavy. So let's maybe put in like 3 blocks of iron there. Oh, look at that. 3 blocks of iron just about nearly leveled it out. There we go, 3 blocks of iron for front weight. Seems to work actually quite well. Now, we can get ourselves a gimbal sensor to see how much of a lean this ship is at. So as you can see, it's at a very slight lean there, but It's not too bad. Alright, let's see if it goes forward. So I'm gonna just stand here. And I'm gonna hit the forward switch. Would you look at that? It's going forward. Very, very slowly. Now, in the Create Simulator tab, there should be a velocity sensor. Yes, there is. So let's put just a velocity sensor, I think. Let's pop it just right about here. We're going about 1 block a second, basically. In fact, do I walk fast in this thing? I walk faster. I even crouch faster than this airship. This airship moves slower than a player crouching. So to fix that, let me just turn that off. In theory, I should be able to just stop this. Let's add on, just a few more sails quickly. Now it's significantly more back heavy, but it should move faster. Quite quick. We've just about doubled our speed now. And with this extra thrust, you can see that it's actually pushing the balloon down a bit more, which isn't the best. And the balloon has also sunk a few blocks due to the additional weight. But otherwise, it goes forwards. But can it turn? That's the question. Let me just place down some obstacles that we can see. Here we go, Creative World Shaper. So I'm just going to quickly make some of these giant pillars all over the place. So we can see. So these pillars are here just so we can see if the ship actually turns. Because in a super flat world, the grass looks practically the same when you have no clue which way you're going most of the time. Let's engage the propeller. We still going? What's the velocity? Why are we stuck? Oh, because I locked that. Alright, let's see if it turns. Okay, I think the steering's a bit inverted. It's very jittery too. What is going on? Oh, we're still at a slight angle. Reset. Reset. Alright, if I turn to the right, we go left. And if I turn to the left, we go right. That's an issue. So to fix that issue, we're going to kill this. And I'm just going to smack another gearbox here. Will that fix the issue? Alright, let's go forward again. There we go, just placing another gearbox fixes the issue, so now we can steer right, can steer left. The ship's a bit jittery. In fact, if I steer left and right rapidly, can I make this thing go off balance? Oh, you actually can't. So if I steer, you can see we're now turning left. Steer the other way. We're now turning right. You can get quite dizzy and sick from this as well. But it's actually not too bad. I would say that this is actually a success. For a first attempt at making a flying hot air balloon airship type of thing, I'd say I did pretty well. Thank you all very much for watching this video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you wish to see more epic content like this. Right, see you in the next video.